Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Thursday, July 29th, 2021. We got some breaking news to report, but first let's get our space weather out of the way. Our solar wind speeds are coming in at 525.2 kilometers per second with a density of 6.4. And I want to correct something. Yesterday, a viewer had pointed this out to me and asked me about cosmic radiation being blocked by solar wind. Yes, cosmic radiation does become blocked from solar wind. Low level, highly charged, I should say low energy particles get blocked away by solar wind. However, very high charged particles still can enter the atmosphere, and the solar wind does carry these highly charged particles. So I might have mixed my words up a little bit yesterday talking about cosmic radiation bringing more highly charged particles to the atmosphere. Solar wind, high solar winds do block cosmic radiation, but highly charged particles still can infiltrate our atmosphere. And here's the proof that solar wind does block cosmic radiation. Yesterday we reported an 8.5%. Today we're sitting at a 7.8%, a 48-hour change of a negative 0.7. So obviously with the solar wind sitting at 525.2 is why we're seeing the decreased amount of cosmic radiation dosage rates today. Not because the shields are weakening or strengthening, but just simple schematics here where cosmic wind does block some cosmic radiation, low energy particles. However, highly charged particles do travel with solar wind, and therefore we also have to be prepared for those as well. KPNC is coming in at 2 with a 24-hour max of a 3. TCI also dropping just a little bit. That's our upper atmosphere temperature at the very top. 4.95 is the value. Guess what? We are sitting blank today. Can't believe it, right? It's been 79 days in a row with a sunspot on the sun. That's right, folks. 79, 80 days, something like that. Well, that streak is now over, and we have number 47 of the spotless days. Now, what does this mean? Do we see a streak of spotless days? We haven't had a spotless day in quite some time. And I'll tell you something, looking at the big picture here, by the way, we'll get into the more space weather here just in a second. Let's look at the big picture over here at the grandsolarminimum.com. And we don't see any future sunspots in the near future at least, but we do have something here that could be something as far as a sunspot goes when it comes to the Earth-facing side. But I want to add something. And my good friend from the UK, David Birch, sent me a link yesterday of more solar monitoring equipment, basically. Get more data, more reading. And something really clicked with me yesterday. The sunspot's Earth-facing, which right here, from here all the way to here is Earth-facing. Okay, so from this big area is Earth-facing. And then back here is the far side. And back in the black, we don't have communication with this satellite anymore, but these are the far side as well. What I find interesting is that on the back side, and I'll bring this up tonight at the full report, but the back side of this is active. Makes sense. Why does it make sense? Well, here's why. The sun, the weaker connection for magnetic field is back here, okay? So everything back here is now the far side of the sun, okay? Everything that I'm putting to in the blue, this is where all the sunspot activity is, right here. If you notice, Earth is on the same side where there's a lot more planets on this side of the ecliptic. So we are seeing a stronger magnetic field connection between this side of the solar system versus over here where there's only 2 planets the sun has to focus on. Therefore, what I'm getting at is you have to have sunspots, you have to have a weak corona. A weak corona with a weak magnetic field will allow sunspots to emerge from the corona. However, when you're over here with the stronger side of things, it's going to be a lot harder to see strong sunspots. If you look at the far side information, I'll bring this up tonight, but if you look at the far side information, you do see sunspots on the other side of the sun. But it makes sense. It's on the side where there is less magnetics, allowing sunspots to emerge from the corona. Right now, the magnetic connection from the sun to the earth is strong. That doesn't mean it's strengthened all the way to full power. I'm just saying it's stronger in this side of the orbit. So that's why we're seeing a blank sun right now, is that the corona is still not weak enough to allow sunspots to emerge when they become on the Earth-facing side at this time. The sunspots that we have recorded lately have been very minor, weak sunspots, averaging only 12 to 13 per grouping. So this makes a lot of sense to me in the fact that we're seeing a blank sun today basically because of basics and what we know and the strength of this cycle, which I think is still weak. Now, here's my predictions, and yes, I'm going to make them. Fall and winter, we will see more sunspot activity. Probably in mid-fall to early winter, we'll start to see it ramp up. And it has everything to do with, that's right. Well, part of it, not everything, but part of it is going to be, well, that's just great. So much for the quick live update, huh? Okay. My point I'm trying to make is that Earth will be around the bend by fall and winter. And by then, other planets, we got to take that into consideration too. But we could still see more sunspot activity heading into the fall and the winter, but nothing crazy. But right now, if we don't see a lot of sunspots between now and October, it's because the Earth is on the side where there is a stronger connection. And look at how many planets are right in the vicinity of Earth right now. The sun is concentrating its magnetic connection directly right here. So that would make sense to me why we're seeing less sunspots on Earth-facing versus the far side. There's less magnetic shield, weaker magnetics, and therefore sunspots are able to emerge from the corona. Now let's get to the breaking news. And I think, this is something else I'll bring up tonight too, I'll show you some SDO footage of these magnetic filament releases, and they may have something to do with this. Yesterday we were on SPACEWEATHER.com. Actually, let's go back a day, because they don't have it no more. Let's just take a quick look at this CME that barely missed Earth. And folks, this was just the beginning of several CMEs. The sun has been quite active. There you see that CME cloud heading towards Mercury. That was the first of a couple yesterday. And in some of the footage that I have for tonight's show, we'll show the satellite. It almost feels like this magnetic filament, when it was released, it took a delay, but when it did, it reached the satellites and shook it. And I do believe that has a lot to do with the magnetic release from the sun. There is a difference between the maneuver roll that the satellites do and then these little things that look like something bumped up against it. Could that be the culprit to the 8.2 that we saw today? Very well could be. But let's take a look real quick and zoom in a little bit. There was a tsunami warning with this earthquake. It is now expired. 8.2 earthquake happened at 3:02 a.m. And since then, that's Perryville, Alaska. Since then, we had tsunami warnings. We've had people feeling the shakes. But impressive enough, the depth is only 32.2 kilometers. No tsunami warning, but folks, several aftershocks here. 4.5, 2.7, 2.8, 3.2, 4.3, 3.8, 3.8, 2.6, 3.8, 3.5, 4.2. These are pretty strong. Vanuatu, by the way, decides to act up. It blows about the other side of the Pacific in the southern part. Nonetheless, 5.1, and more Alaskan aftershocks too. So up and down the block here today, so far, we've seen quite a busy morning for the Pacific Ocean as far as earthquakes go, and several. We have one in Myanmar as well, 5.5. So lots of action, folks. We'll keep our eyes on this. It could be breaking news day all day today, but we'll keep our eyes. So far, so good. No major news has arisen yet from this major 8.2, but I will tell you, it was followed by a 6.1 and a 5.5 and a 5.9 immediately afterwards. So, very busy in the middle of the night. This all got started in the Macquarie Island region at around, just before the big one struck here in Alaska. And I've noticed that we had a Vanuatu in here. So today we are seeing concentrated earthquake action if you take a line from here to here on different sides of the ring of fire. So interesting stuff. We'll keep our eyes on it as well. And also, like I said, tonight we will do a full report, folks. There's just too much to talk about. I usually try to keep these morning videos short, but today, just a lot going on. I'll save a lot more of this for tonight's show as well. All right, let's check out our weather maps here. First of all, check out today, Thursday, July 29th. We got a chance for some severe thunderstorms and flash floods all across the Midwest, Ohio, the mid-Atlantic states too. New York, looking for some possible flash flooding on the central capital region, mostly in Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and southern parts of Maine. Possible flooding happening in Arizona. Once again, folks, they are sucking up this rain. They need it bad. The drought is still full effect, but more showers across the south. And then tomorrow, Friday, more heavy rain, flash flooding possible for Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and very, very small parts of Southern California. We need to keep an eye on this situation. 2 days ago, the weather map was not showing flooding rains in this part of the country for the rest of the week. Now it's changed its tune, and let's see what we can look at on Saturday. Finally, things calm down. Just plain old showers for most of the Southwest. In the South, across the South, Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, North Carolina. Dry day for you in Ohio and Pennsylvania and parts of southern New York, but western New York, central New York, we'll expect to see showers. All right, so what's that mean for today as far as high temperatures go? Well, let's check it out. High temperatures today, well, looking like summer across most of the United States, across the Central Plains states and in the South. Up in the Northeast, very, very comfortable. I might add, I'm here in the Northeast, folks. It's only 64 degrees right now here in the Central Capital Region. Across the northern parts, Northern Plains, and the Great Lakes, also seeing the same type of weather. Still really hot in the Southwest, California, parts of Arizona as well. Still very, very, very hot. What is our low temperatures for today? Well, let's check that out too. Not bad. Wow, we're seeing some purples in Wisconsin and Minnesota, parts of Colorado. I'm sure that's in the higher elevations. Also, North Country, New York, seeing those 50s and maybe possibly some 40s sneaking in there as well. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me tonight. Make sure you tune in tonight for our grand solar minimum full report. We'll talk more about the earthquake. We'll talk more about solar wind. We'll talk about cosmic radiation and this so-called new declaration of 11,000 scientists say that we are doomed on climate crisis. But is it really 11,000? And is it really new? Tune in tonight, folks, 7:30 p.m. on the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Have a great day.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.